I've always wanted to do one of those home office setups where you take an old dingy setup and you turn it into something amazing. And where my brother-in-law started working from home recently, I figured now is the perfect opportunity to do something just like that. So let's go ahead and take his old setup and give him something entirely new, all for under $2,500, including the computer. Now, my brother-in-law before was using a 2011 27-inch iMac, which was fine for like day-to-day tasks like web browsing, but absolutely nothing demanding. And where my brother-in-law and my sister both make home and YouTube videos, and my brother-in-law records music, it was time to give him something at least just a little bit beefier, and we gave him something way more powerful than he's ever used before. For this setup, we decided to go with the 2020 M1 MacBook Air with 500 gigabyte SSD and 16 gigs of RAM. Now, it's nothing actually all that insane, but for the video and music projects that he's going to be working on, this will be absolutely more than enough. In fact, it's actually the same computer that I use, the only difference being mine has one more GPU core, and with what he's doing, he's not going to notice the difference. Plus, it's completely silent, and you can get this computer off of Amazon for less than $1,500. My brother-in-law wanted to make sure that he had a desktop workspace when he was at home, but that he could also take his work with him when he wants to go on the road. So we decided to plug everything into this pluggable USB dock, which has DisplayLink technology, which means that he'll be able to power his two 1080p Scepter monitors. Now, these monitors are nothing special, but I am actually blown away that for the price point, these things are really good. The bezels aren't distracting, they're thin, they're super light, and I think they just look fantastic. So I'm really impressed. And these monitors mount onto a Vivo dual monitor stand that we got on Amazon, and this has been really awesome because it has these cable routes on the back, so you can just route everything and make sure that when you move the monitors around, you don't yank anything out. And that has been really, really nice. That's mounted to the desk. For the webcam, we decided to go with the tried and true Logitech C920, and I have just a little bit of a rant about this because webcams are such a joke. By the time you factor in internet speed and bandwidth, video compression, and lighting, a $50 webcam and a $300 webcam look basically the same, and so there's just no need to get anything beyond a Logitech C920. And speaking of lighting, we decided to go with a rather inexpensive but really good Releno light off of Amazon, and that is being held up by a $20 light stand that just mounts onto the back of the desk. For peripherals, we decided to go with this massive gaming mat that we got off of Amazon. I don't know the brand. We decided to get this gel HyperX wrist rest that's super comfy, even if it isn't the prettiest to look at. Neither one of us are mouse snobs, and so he just kept the same mouse that he's always been using. It's some Logitech mouse he probably got at Walmart for like 10 bucks a couple years ago. And then for the keyboard, we decided to go with the Keychron K10 with the Gateron brown switches. Now, I know that red switches are all the rage, but I prefer the tactile feeling of the brown switches, and where this is my brother-in-law's first mechanical keyboard, he can't tell the difference anyway. Cables are managed with this tray that's underneath the desk, and everything is plugged into this super long industrial power strip that we got from Walmart, and it's actually really nice. I'm really impressed. And holding it all up is this unfinished butcher block countertop that we got from Home Depot, and it's all sitting on these triangular legs that we got from IKEA. Now, they didn't have the black legs in stock, and I would have preferred the black legs, so I would maybe spray paint these black, but my brother-in-law likes them the way it is, and I would also stain the butcher block countertop, but he likes the way it looks. But overall, I think it looks pretty clean and minimalist, and so I'm a big fan of this setup. But now let's talk about the cost breakdown of everything individually. I'll just list the numbers here in rapid fire. The MacBook cost $1,350. The monitors dropped in price from when we got them, but we got them for $140 each, so $280 total. The DisplayLink dock cost $130. The monitor stand cost $40. The webcam cost $64. The Releno light was $58, and the light stand was $19. The gaming mat was $16. The Keychron keyboard was $68. The mouse was $10. The cable management tray came in a pack of 2 for $26. Our power strip was from Walmart and it was $35. And then we had some various cables, clips, Velcro straps, and HDMI cables, and all of that came into probably around $40. And lastly, we have the two Tilslag table legs from IKEA for $35 each, total of $70, and the butcher block countertop was $110, which brings our total cost of the entire setup to $2,316. Now, everyone's setup is going to be a little bit different, and my brother-in-law happened to already have a good audio interface and microphone, so when he wants to do conference calls or if he ever decides to stream, he'll have great audio for that. But you can get a really good microphone on Amazon if you're willing to do a little bit of digging for pretty cheap. In fact, I got the one that I use for my video calls for $16 at the time, and I think it sounds great for what it does. Now, I like to think of this setup as two separate things. First, the computer, and then the rest of the setup. The computer was the majority of the cost, which means that you could get the rest of the setup, everything you need except for the computer, for less than $1,000, which I realize is still a really big chunk of change. However, if this is your work from home setup, it will probably pay for itself pretty quickly in terms of ease of use and productivity. But if that's still too much money, then there are a lot of ways that you could cut the cost pretty quickly without having to break the bank or sacrifice very much. For example, I could have gotten a keyboard and mouse combo for like $35 on Amazon, only one monitor, no extra stand, a cheaper desk, a cheaper webcam, no light, a cheaper power strip, and it would still be a really good setup while bringing the cost of everything down $400. And that's still buying everything new. That's not even looking at the used market. There are also a bunch of ways that you could increase spending quite a bit. For example, if you wanted to use a DSLR and a capture card, or if you wanted to invest in a really expensive microphone, or use RGB or decor or whatever it is, or a bigger desk or better monitors or something like that, there are bunches of ways that you could spend a lot more money. Overall, I think this is a really good balance between budget and productivity and like having everything be really what you want it to be. However, I don't know, and I'm always looking for new ways to better a setup. And so if there's something that you would do different, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. What would you leave out? What would you buy instead? What would you change? What would you do differently? I would love to hear about it. Until then, thanks for watching.